Introducing a new run. I'm going to be using DLC for the first time in over 30 years. No, I'm just kidding. So we're going to be doing DLC, and we're going to be running it in a new way. Basically, in order to prevent the DLC from power creeping my units, I'm going to be not using it during specific chapters, so chapter 11 and 22. I'm not going to be doing other paralogs that I normally would do, and I'm not going to be using certain emblem rings. So I'm not going to be using like Lyn and Lucina, for example, and instead I'm going to be using like Tiki and Edelgard as replacements. Now this means no engravings, no passives. I can't do the paralogs of those emblems. This should reduce the effect of DLC on a save file, while also allowing me to use it without necessarily breaking the game. I'm targeting the best emblems in the game to substitute in DLC emblems for, so that way I don't have the best of both worlds. So immediately after this mission, I'm going to unequip Lyn and Lucina. You just get them for like the second half of this, like once you get to this area. And from there, I won't be using them, I won't be using their passives, I won't be using their engravings, I won't be doing their paralogs. So this should reduce the amount of XP my units get in general. One of the problems with Divine Paralogs is that they power level your units. And if I'm not doing the other paralogs for the main game, then I won't have to worry about over-leveling necessarily. Now, certain Divine Paralogs spam enemies. This is also true of other paralogs, like Roy Paralog is notorious for power leveling units, and Micaiah and Celica paralogs can power level units. So it's not too much different. It does vary from paralog to paralog. Obviously, Lucina paralog versus Tiki's. You know, I might have to drop 2 rings for Tiki. I'll probably drop Roy in the second half. So I'll drop... I think I was just using Roy on Diamant. I'm not really running Diamant. So we'll see how it turns out. If it actually ends up being, about as hard as an average playthrough. If this is a good way of balancing it. I'm also not using Xenolog units or Xenolog classes. Now, if you were to just do a normal run and unlock like Cannoneer and Enchanter, that probably would be fine. If you don't run the Xenolog units, you could probably unlock those at like chapter 9 to 10 around here, and then start running them and it'd be fine. But in terms of like running Tiki with Lucina and Lyn and all this stuff, I wanted the game to be more balanced. So we're going to be trying some things out as well. Right now I have 2 Griffin Knights. I'm going to try Physical Chloe, Griffin Knight Anna with Levin, and then I'm going to try Bow Knight Etier, low investment Bow Knight Etier, and then the rest of these are just here temporarily until I get different units. But that's it for this one, just an introduction to a new team, the DLC run. This way I can experiment with DLC rings without breaking the game. Now obviously, certain base game emblems break the game, so I targeted those first to substitute in. And hopefully, with this new system, I won't get power leveled. I also am not doing like Soren Paralog, because that gives you a ton of XP. Some of the Divine Paralogs aren't as bad as others. Like Camilla can be bad, there's just like a ton of enemies. Soren's can be bad. Tiki's even can be bad because there's like 10 waves of like 3 to 4 enemies a turn, and that can add up quick for XP gain. So what I'll try to do is feed the highest level units so they don't level up as much, because eventually their XP will start capping. So that'll be the plan for that. And yeah, just an introduction to a new run. Going to be testing out some new builds, going to be testing out DLC finally, so the new builds will have some DLC skills. Some of these builds, like I'm not banning Sigurd. Sigurd is still allowed. He's not being replaced by anything. So I'm basically replacing mid-game emblems. So I'm replacing Byleth, Corrin, Ike, Lyn, and Lucina. And replacing Ike with Hector is definitely a downgrade. And an Ike's map is also an enemy spam map. So that's like a map to get good XP on outside of the Void Curse. So yeah, let's try this out, see where we go. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.